All right. If you would, before we begin our council meeting, please silence your devices. All right. At this time, the mayor will call to order the regular city council meeting for 6 p.m. on Tuesday, September the 24th of 2024 in the city council chambers, 201 East Nash Street, Terrell, Texas. Have with us on the dais District 2, Donna Renee Anderson. District 3, Mayor Ronnie Velazquez. District 4, Stephanie Holmes Thomas, Mayor Pro Tem. And we have District 5, Phil Robinson, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem. We do have a quorum. We can continue our meeting. At this time, I would like to invite Pastor Buddy Sadler from First Missionary Baptist Church to the podium to lead us in invocation. And if you would, please remain standing for the pledges.
Let us pray. Father in heaven, first of all, I want to thank you for the administration, the leaders of the city of Terrell. Thank you for each one here tonight, the part that they have. And I ask, Father, your blessings upon this meeting tonight. May it be conducted civilly. May it bring honor and glory to the Lord Jesus Christ. May the decisions made tonight and of the whole business procedure might have your blessings. And I, Father, ask for a measure of wisdom upon each one. You gave wisdom to Solomon of old, and what a mighty service he had. And I pray for that same wisdom for these tonight in these deliberations. I thank you and praise you for your blessings. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you for coming and sharing the word with us. We think highly of our faith-based community.
Amen.
So thank you for all that you do. Continue to pray for us as council members and mayors in the city. And we appreciate you very much. Here's some cookies to take with you.
Like cookies?
Yes.
All right.
A good snack tonight. They got the city logo on there.
Okay,
so
I might
good.
have to save those.
Grandkids. Or,
Okay, that'll
yep.
work. That'll work.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Our next item on the agenda is Mayor, Council, Community Recognitions and Events. Does anybody have anything that they would like to inform us about? Big game Friday, Terrell Kaufman game. Terrell ISD is playing Kaufman ISD. We want to wish the football team much luck. I've got a bet with Mayor Jordan out of Kaufman, so don't want to pay any bets. I want to benefit from the game. Collect. So yes, and collect that bet. But wish them well, and thank all those who were going to have the Kiwanis Golf Tournament. It has been rescheduled to November the 4th, the Kiwanis Golf Tournament, so we get to practice a little bit more, be ready for that game. Anybody else? All right, at this time, we'll move on. We have remarks from visitors. Do we have any? Have none. We'll move on to item 4.1. Oh, mine's out of order.
Should be 4.1,
Yeah, I know. Hold on. Just a minute. Okay. No, you're good. No. It's mine. I'm just getting my stuff here. So 4.1, if you would, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Item 4.1 is we bring to you tonight resolution number 2185, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, appointing council member Donna Renee Anderson to serve at the Texas Municipal League Annual Business Meeting on October 10th, 2024.
All right, council, I was approached by our council member, Donna Renee Anderson, to participate in this conference, and I just wanted to bring this resolution to you. Mike thought it'd be a good idea for us to go ahead and look at it and do it in a more formal setting. I think anytime that we can send someone to participate in these conferences, bring back information, but then be up to date on what's going on nationally and locally, that's a big plus for us. So thank you for agreeing to do that, but it is a resolution. Is there a motion on resolution 2185?
Motion to approve resolution number 2185.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Phil Robinson, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem District 5, a second from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, District 3, to approve Resolution 2185 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Oh,
I
discussion?
just want to say
Yes.
thank you. I believe the Terrell, this is new to me, but I believe Terrell needs to have a voice in the state regarding the things that may or may not be coming our way that will affect how we govern our city. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we did have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 4.2.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight resolution number 2189, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, appointing Councilmember Donna Renee Anderson to serve on the National League of Cities Federal Advocacy Committee of Public Safety and Crime Prevention.
All right. Is there, same thing here? Just council member engaging in making the council better. And this one's with the National League of Cities. Does anybody have a motion on resolution 2185? 89, sorry, 2189.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to approve resolution number 2189.
Is there a second? Second. We have a motion from Phil Robinson, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem District 5, a second from Stephanie Holmes Thomas, Mayor Pro Tem District 4, to approve resolution 2189 as presented. Is there any further discussion?
Excited to have Donna represent us both at the Texas and national level.
Great,
Donna Renee.
Thank you.
thank you. Yes. All in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Next item on the agenda is 5.1, Good News Report. This is our PIO, Allison Walker.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for having me tonight. You see before you the September Good News Report, and as usual, it is full of good news. So, on the first page, you'll see the Carter Blood Drive. That is something that Dora has been organizing for us, so I'm sure that task will go to Nicole in the future. But we had 22 different employees, 15 were able to donate. One person donated plasma, and then 6 people were deferred, which I just find comical because the vegetarian in the room did donate, and 2 of my coworkers who are not vegetarians did not donate because they didn't have enough iron. So I don't even know how that's possible, but anyway. All right. On the next page, the Terrell State Hospital groundbreaking. That was a great event. A lot of y'all attended that, and we're looking forward to the continuation of that project. $573 million partnership and collaboration. So I know Raylan and Chris and a few others in the room have been working to make that become a reality. On the next page, the 9/11 ceremony that we hold every year here at the fire department. The mayor was there, and City Council Member Donna Anderson, Donna Renee were in attendance. We also had participation by Mike, Chief LaCroix, the TFD Honor Guard, Chief Sansom, Interim Chief Sansom, and Chaplain Gary Weems also participated in that. So that was a good event. The next one is this Young Eagles Rally. This is something that we've been doing for several years now, and every year it gets bigger. So we were excited that we had 20 more kids than we did last year for this at the airport. And we want to thank our Deputy Fire Marshal Derek Hill and then Billy Beggs from our Public Services team for working that day and making this so successful. That's a letter on the right from the Terrell Hangar Club representative, just bragging on how well that event went. So thank you to all of those who participated in that. Okay, the Monte Carlo fundraiser, that was a lot of fun. I think the mayor and Phil both attended. Amira went, Raylan went, I went. I guess that was all the people that were there from the city, but I just go to visit. No, Chris was there.
Yeah, Chris Knapp was there.
Who else? And Jana. So we had a good turnout from the city that came to that. And then on the next page is more good news from the BFTS Museum. This is the North Texas Giving Day. This year they focused on this old 42 plane, and they're trying to raise money so that they can keep that maintained and have that permanently at the airport. So, okay, and then one more note on the BFTS before we go any further. Bill Hutmaker, who is their chair out there, he has received an award, the British Empire Medal, and that is given to civilians who do volunteer work, and it's from the King. And so at some point, he will be receiving that medal in Washington, D.C. at the American Embassy. We don't have a date on that yet, but what we're going to do is honor him probably in conjunction with the British Bash. We thought that would be the most appropriate time to do that.
Yeah, I just want to say that medal is highly regarded. It's not anybody can get that. That's right. So that's a really big deal for.
Yep, they say that every single medal is handcrafted
Right.
individually, so
Yeah,
anyway,
so
that's a big honor.
Congratulations to Bill. Well deserved.
All right, there's our new parking lot, yay. So hopefully those will be put to good use pretty soon for the mural walk and car show on October the 5th. So everybody mark your calendars for that. Okay, then on this page are some new employees. We have Thurley Rodriguez and James Bowman, who have joined the police department. And then at City Hall, we have Erica Riley, who is the HR generalist working with Sue. And then people that are going through training with our utilities group is Christopher Allen, Charleston Miller, Lionel Lewis, and Von Shea Jackson, and they have completed their 20-hour TCEQ Basic Waterworks Operations courses. Okay, this is a great thing. They started doing these first aid trainings, and every time they fill up so quickly that they have to schedule another class. So that's a good problem to have, but I haven't had word yet that this one has filled, but anyway, I think they're just going to keep offering them, so that's exciting, something good that the fire department's doing. Continuation of the summer street work. I've been trying to keep y'all updated. I think we've kind of reached a point where they're trying to make a transition because Carnell is no longer over there, and he was the one keeping me updated with pictures, but anyway, that's a good overview of what's going on, the repairs, restriping, and the current ditching. And then on this next page, you can see on the left some of the paving asphalt that's been done. The streets included Bennett, Henderson, Stallings, Dixon, and Mayfield. Also to be added to that will be Walnut, and then we're working with the state to negotiate some improvements along Bryn Street. So. And then on the right, that was Charles Lane, and that's an example of some curb and gutter repair that's been done throughout the city. And then I just thought this was neat. I know y'all, if you were here last time, we recognized this lady who they were able to save her life, and that is just awesome. I can't remember how many times that we've honored Josh McKenzie and his crew, but anyway, we were very thankful for that. And then on the left was just a Facebook message that I picked up from one of the residents who was singing their praises because they came out and helped, and she's encouraging everybody in the city to purchase a fire blanket. So anyway, it's just some good press for our fire department. And then on Constitution Week, this is the DAR group that typically comes every year. And normally, if y'all will remember, they will come to City Council and we will issue them a proclamation. And this year they decided that they would rather join in with the other DAR groups across the nation and do a ringing of the bells. And so we said, okay, but we didn't really know what to expect. And so here's what we got, a big crowd of people that were dressed in period costumes. And it was a really cool event. So we're encouraging them to, give us a little more notice next time, and maybe we can kind of grow that event because it was a lot of fun, and they brought a pretty good crowd with them. We had some participants from Poetry Christian School, and we also had Aaron that works at the Halsey Public Library who sang the national anthem. So that was a good event. And the next page was some of the events that we've had with Terrell ISD recently. At the top left was the grand opening and ribbon cutting for the Go Center at Terrell High School. And their slogan for that is "From Here It's Possible." And then below are the mayor and Donna Renee who attended that event. And then at the right, you can see the mayor with School Board President Dina Reisinger and Tanya. Is that Tanya? Yeah, Tanya Derrick, I'm sorry. Okay, and then on the next page, I just asked Donna about this. She had a Coffee with Your Councilwoman event Saturday, and I said, how did that go?
And it went well. I had someone show up and we talked until 11.
So I told her it doesn't matter if you had 1 people or 50 people, because if you had one person and they really had something serious to talk about, then you still accomplished your goals. So anyway. And the very last thing I will mention, I know I'm getting into October, but this is what happens because by the time I present the October good news, some of the good news has already happened. So just to give y'all a heads up, we will have a film crew in town. They're coming to do a feature on Terrell, and they will be here filming on October 2nd and 3rd. So just giving y'all a heads up, they'll be downtown. They'll do some filming probably in some of our parks, some of the residential neighborhoods, and possibly at the airport. And then that Saturday, October 5th, I mentioned earlier the mural walk, but this year it's going to be really neat because at 9:30, we're going to unveil the historical marker that we were supposed to get for the sesquicentennial in 2023, and the state has just shipped that to us, but we're going to do an unveiling of that. That will be at Adelaide and South Alley. And then, because this is the 125th anniversary of the first car ride through Terrell, we're going to do the Terrell Heritage Museum is sponsoring an antique car show from 11 to 2 that day. So that's going to be a nice addition to the mural walk. So, and today I heard that they're still trying to, we last year had an art show at the Lyric, but since the Lyric's not available this year, they're going to try to set up a tent and have some art from the Terrell State Hospital patients, as well as some local artists that will want to have a little mini art show outside. So y'all put that on your calendars for October the 5th. That is all. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Anybody have any comment?
Also, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate these updates. They're always such a pleasure.
Always fun.
I also wanted to say if we could go back a couple of slides. Right. Yeah, actually, I do own more than one shirt. I
See, I didn't even notice, but now that you brought it,
I know.
it's your patriotic shirt.
It was definitely an honor to meet the Daughters of the American Revolution and Sons. as well. And next year I'm going to wear my full colonial gear, I think.
There you go.
Just really go all out.
So-
But I did want to ask about the on the summer street projects. I've had a couple of residents ask, if there's some delay going on with regard to some of the streets around town, like with Walnut and Pecan and a few others. Do we kind of know what's happening with those?
I would just say it's taking a little bit longer than we might have liked, and some of that is just, contractors have a period of time to perform, and so they're stretching their performance period. Are they technically overdue? No, they're not violating their contract, but they are kind of pushing the tail end of their contract here. So we'll continue to work with them and get them to do that. They had a couple of problems in places where it was just the practical issue of getting delayed by other things going on in the roadway. And then, as you can tell from looking at this particular drawing of Charles Lane, you got to let the concrete cure, and so they have to kind of have a little waiting period, and some of those waiting periods have gone on a little bit too long.
Yeah. We have any kind of a timeline that we're looking at?
I will get that to you, but I don't think it will be that much longer. We were trying to get one of the crews mobilized this week, so I'm sure we'll be right back at it.
Okay, great.
And I will say, if you get any inquiries from residents, or sometimes I'll get messages on Facebook, what I try to do is just follow up with Glenn to try to get an updated timeline on whether that street is on the schedule for this year, or possibly, just let them know that, every year we will do an evaluation and let them kind of get a general timeline of when their street might fall on there.
I do want to say I'm sorry to hear that we lost Carnell. It was a great addition to
Oh.
that team. So.
Carnell, I could have done a recognition with Carnell, but, he's a shy and humble young man, and he had, we can talk about it offline, but he and his family have received a wonderful opportunity. I'm all thumbs up for what he decided to do, so.
Proud for him. Good to hear that.
Yeah.
There's, this coming Saturday, Kaufman County is, let me get it right. They're having their emergency management and fire marshal's office's emergency preparedness festival at Ben Gill Park from 10 to 4. And there will be live interactions and vendors. So that's an event that's happening about emergency preparedness. Just thought I'd share that.
Thank you. All right, our next item on the agenda is 6.1. Is to discuss and consider ordinance number 3068. An ordinance of the City of Terrell, Texas, establishing the tax rate on all taxable property within the City of Terrell, Texas for fiscal year 2024, 2025, and levying and ordering collection of the tax year 2024, and providing a lien on all real and personal property to secure the payment of taxes assessed, containing a severability clause, repealing all ordinances and parts thereof in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date. This is going to be handled by our Assistant City Manager, Mark Mills.
Mayor, council, good evening. At the council meeting on Tuesday, September the 17th, a public hearing was conducted on the tax year 2024 tax rate. This is the tax rate that will fund the fiscal year 2025 budget, which is on your agenda this evening for consideration as item 6.4. The total proposed tax rate is, as presented at the public hearing on the 17th, is 76.42 cents per $100 evaluation. If approved, this will be the sixth consecutive year that the tax rate has remained unchanged. The proposed maintenance and operation, or M&O tax rate, which provides funding for a portion of the general fund, is 61.42 cents per $100 evaluation. The proposed interest and sinking, or INS tax rate, which provides funding for the payment of principal and interest issued on debt issued by the city, is 15 cents. Again, the total tax rate, 76.42, would be the sixth consecutive year if it remains unchanged. State law requires that each of these components, the M&O and the INS, be adopted separately. In addition, because the proposed tax rate generates more revenue from property taxes than in the previous year, specific language is outlined in state law, has been included as part of the third motion this evening. So there will be three separate motions with specific language in each. The approval of these three motions will result in the passage of ordinance number 3068, which will approve the total tax rate at 76.42 cents. I'm available for any questions you all may have.
Thank you, Mark.
So just throw in the note here that one of the things that we asked Mark to do is, as we brought Mark in, was to just really review how we're doing with comptroller compliance and state law compliance related to all of our budget issues. And I really appreciate him bringing forward, hey, there's occasionally times where we actually have to do very specific wording with the votes. And I know it's a little different than we've done in the past, but this is getting to a consistency with state law issue, and I really appreciate Mark bringing that forward. And so it feels awkward because we're voting on the exact same tax rate we've had for 6 or so years. On the other hand, it's great because we're stepping up our compliance effort and making sure that we're consistent with state law. As you know, the appraisal district continues to rate property values, so while the city leaves the tax rate unchanged, the city's tax revenues increased, and that's part of the reason for the very specific wording that Mark is mentioning. So the staff suggestion here is, because it is a legal topic, it might be better, and Mayor, I'll defer to you on this, when we get to this part of it, if you like, what we can do is have your city attorney read each motion, and then if it's okay with council to move forward on it, then you would say so moved, or if you don't wish to move forward on it, you just let us know. But that'll get us more strictly in line with the state law on it.
Right, no, so, council, I was just gonna say, you know, when we were talking about our tax rate, our very specific directive to the council was, to the staff was, leave the rate the same and not to increase the rate. We have done that. These three motions indicate that. Again, because of state law, we have to say the third one with the verbiage that the state says we must. So that's the issues, or no issues, but that's the way we're gonna do it. I agree with Mike. We're gonna allow Greg to read the motion so that it's clear, and then we're gonna poll the council on this vote, because it's associated with our tax rate. We need to poll the council. So, Greg, does anybody have any question before we move forward? Okay, Greg.
Yes, first motion, Mr. Mayor, is to move that the property tax rate for maintenance and operations be set at 61.42 cents per $100 of valuation. This leaves the maintenance and operations tax rate unchanged from the prior year.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, District 3, a second from Donna Renee Anderson to move in the affirmative on motion 1. Is there, Omara, if you would please poll the council?
Donna Renee,
Yes.
Mayrani Velazquez,
Aye.
Stephanie Holmes Thomas,
Aye.
Phil Robinson,
Aye.
And the mayor.
Mayor Rick Carmona.
Aye. Motion passes with unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Motion number 2 is to move that the property tax rate for interest and sinking be set at 15 cents per $100 of valuation. This leaves the interest and sinking tax rate unchanged from the prior year.
Okay, on the second motion, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Stephanie Holmes Thomas, Mayor Pro Tem District 4, a second from Donna Renee Anderson, District 2, to move in the affirmative on motion number 2. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, if you would, please poll the council.
Donna Renee Anderson,
Aye.
Mayrani Velazquez,
Aye.
Stephanie Holmes Thomas,
Aye.
Phil Robinson,
Aye.
Mayor Rick Carmona.
Aye. Motion passes with unanimous vote of those present. Our next motion.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, motion number 3 is to move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 76.42 cents per $100 of valuation, which is effectively a 4.39% increase in the tax rate. This leaves the total city tax rate of 76.42 cents unchanged for the 6th consecutive year.
Is there a motion on the third?
So move.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Donna Renee Anderson, District 2, a second from Phil Robinson, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, District 5, to move in the affirmative on motion 3. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating.
Poll the council.
Oh, yeah, we got to poll the council, I'm sorry.
Donna Renee Anderson,
Aye.
Mayrani Velasquez,
Aye.
Stephanie Holmes Thomas, Phil Robinson,
Aye.
Mayor Rick Carmona.
Aye. Motion passes with unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 6.2.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight Resolution number 2186, ratifying an increase in property tax revenues reflected in the fiscal year 2024-2025 adopted budget and maintenance and unchanged tax rate for the city of Terrell.
All right, this is going to be handled by Mark Mills.
When adopting a tax rate that generates more revenue from property taxes than in the prior year, state law requires that the city ratify the increase in property tax revenue regardless of what the cause may be, whether it's an increase in the tax base, an increase in property values, new construction, or a change in the tax rate. The fiscal year 2024-25 budget includes a tax rate is based on a tax rate of 76.42 cents per $100 of valuation, which you all just approved as part of item 6.1. The maintenance, the city has maintained the 76.42 cent tax rate for 6 consecutive years. An increase in the certified taxable values and addition of new construction values resulted in the increase in property tax for the city. As a result of the additional total property tax collection in the FY25 budget, the aforementioned legislation requires that the City Council ratify the property tax increase reflected in the adopted budget. Resolution number 2186 provides for this ratification. The vote to ratify the property tax revenue increase for this resolution is by record vote, and it has to be a separate action and a separate vote from adopting the budget and a separate vote from adopting the tax rate.
All right, Mark, thank you for those comments. Does anybody have any questions for Mark? Hearing none, we will take a motion on ordinance number 2186, and this will be a poll. I need a motion and a second, please.
This is, yeah, not ordinance, not ordinance, resolution 2186.
Oh, okay.
2186.
2186. Yeah,
2186.
It's different on what we're seeing. It's resolution
Resolution, yes, sir.
2186.
Yeah.
2186.
Yeah.
There you go.
Motion to approve resolution 2186.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Second. We have a motion from Phil Robinson, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem District 5, a second from Stephanie Holmes Thomas, Mayor Pro Tem District 4, to approve resolution 2186 as presented. If you would, please poll the council.
Donna Renee Anderson,
Aye.
Mayrani Velasquez,
Aye.
Stephanie Holmes Thomas, Phil Robinson,
Aye.
Mayor Rick Carmona.
Aye. Motion passed, unanimous vote of the president. Our next item on the agenda is 6.3.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, resolution number 2188 is brought forward. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, setting a date, time, and location for a public hearing on the proposed property tax freeze on residential homesteads for disabled individuals, directing the city secretary to publish notice of such public hearing in a newspaper of general circulation and on the city internet website, and providing an effective date.
All right. Mark?
During previous discussions on the budget and the tax rate, City Council expressed an interest in exploring a tax ceiling for the property tax accounts of disabled individuals within the city of Terrell. The tax ceiling is similar to the one that was passed and put in place for senior citizens prior to January 1, 2022. Passage of Resolution 2188 will allow for the posting and allow the conducting of a public hearing. If approved, the public hearing will be held on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, during the scheduled 6 p.m. City Council meeting. Again, October 22nd, 2024, during the 6 p.m. City Council meeting. After the conclusion of the public hearing, if the tax ceiling is approved, it would be put in place and effective prior to the next tax cycle affecting tax year 2025, which would fund the fiscal year 26 budget and be reflected on tax bills distributed during 2025. Just for a point of clarification, it would not be in place and would not be able to impact the property tax bills that are currently being generated and are due on January 31st, 2025. It would be those that are generated at the end of 25 and due January 31st, 2026. I'm available for questions.
All right, so council, the last time we did this for our senior citizens, we had, those of you that were on the council, we did this at the police, at the police station, and we did it on a separate night. This time, we're gonna be doing it on October the 22nd, a council meeting. Do we have enough room, do we think? Oh, well, I think there will be, because there's not as many affected, right?
Our theory was that it would be a smaller crowd, and I think we'll be okay
Okay.
in this particular setting,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right, but, you know, it's important, this is a public hearing. I can't say what that turnout will be, but this is something that we've discussed and talked about. I think it's a great idea to freeze that tax rate for those individuals. You know, you never know when you have a public hearing what happens, but I guess to make sure that we don't have any misinformation about what we're gonna do, we should make sure we get in front of it and be clear on what we're doing.
Mayor, you are thinking exactly what staff's thinking. We're gonna have to get it out there, not just as a newspaper ad.
Right.
We're gonna have to get it out there on Facebook and that sort of thing, because what's happened in the past is for people to read this and say, oh my gosh, are they gonna take it away?
Yep.
And we definitely had people react the opposite of our intention whenever we did this previously with the seniors, and we had to kind of go through the audience and let everybody no, you didn't, you read it backwards. This is not a bad news, this is a good news. And essentially what it means, if you're not familiar with it, is that you set a maximum valuation of the house. The house stays at a certain number of valuation until you know, the house is sold and somebody else owns it and all that sort of thing. So while the disabled individual is the homeowner in it, they benefit from a ceiling on the taxable value of the home. And there's lots of state law with that. I had a great question came from one of the council members earlier about this, was, well, how do you know? Do you have to apply? Do you have to go through a process? And the idea is because there's already a taxing jurisdiction in the county that has this in place, they already know down at the county who qualifies and who doesn't, and they'll be able to pull those folks in automatically. So once you vote on it, there isn't a application process proving that you qualify, blah, blah, blah. That's a process that's already been handled, and anybody newly getting into the process applies through the county, not through us.
Yeah, let's just make sure that the public knows this isn't a hardship, it's a benefit to the disabled. That's simple as that. Okay, anybody have any questions for Mark? And again, we'll have the public hearing on the 22nd. Will we vote on the 22nd as well, or do we have to wait 2 weeks, or?
You'll have opportunity to vote there, but it does take more than one step. So we'll get you all that lined out at the public hearing.
All right, thank you. All right. So we have, this was a discuss and consider. This is resolution number 2188, setting the date and time and place for this public hearing. Is there a motion on resolution number 2188?
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2188.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Stephanie Holmes Thomas, Mayor Pro Tem District 4, a second from Donna Renee Anderson, District 2, to approve resolution number 2188 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 6 point.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3067, an ordinance of the city of Terrell, Texas, amending a budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2023, and ending September 30th, 2024, approving and adopting a budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2024, and ending September 30th, 2025, providing that expenditures for said fiscal year shall be made in accordance with said budgets, appropriating and setting aside the necessary funds out of the general fund and other fund revenues for said fiscal years for the maintenance and operation of the various improvements and for other activities and improvements of the city, providing a repealing clause, providing a severability clause, and providing an effective date. This also requires a record vote.
All right, this is going to be handled by our city manager, Mike Sims.
Okay, so Mayor and Council, this is a second reading. On first reading, it was passed with the direction to staff to go in and make sure that we identified the fact that council had voted against a $2 increase on the trash bill. And so because council elected to provide that financial benefit to citizens, we need to make sure that we reflected that in the budget. So here's the updated general fund summary on revenue. If you take a look at that very bottom number there, $43,811, you'll know that that's about $144,000 lower. The next page shows you the expenditures. The direction to staff was to go in and sort of surgically make a series of cuts, and we had some thoughts and some direction from council about what not to cut. We did make sure that we did that. I'll show you the details here in a second, and you can recall that our previous version of the budget had a net for the year of about $115,000. This updated version of the budget, removing those revenues, but then also cutting some things, ends us up with $37,000 in net between our revenues and expenditures for FY '24. I'm sorry, for FY '25. The next page shows you the details on all of that. If you want to glance through all of those, you can see the cuts in revenue were made. As mentioned, roughly 100,000 of that was going to come out of residential. So you can see that reduction there. Roughly 44,000 was coming out of the commercial. That's the one that says franchise waste connections up at the top. So there's your total in that reduction in those categories. And then I won't read them to you, but you can see that we've selected some stuff for cuts that we viewed were things that made a lot of sense to us. We think we can save some money on consulting fees and services in finance. So we've made that cut. There's a couple of little areas where there was maybe a travel and education that we thought, hey, we can save a little bit of money there. We went down into housing, and we said, wait a minute, why were we carrying a furniture and fixtures number there anyway? We finished some remodel work a couple of years ago. We're done. We don't need to have that, so we removed that item. We felt like we can save a little bit of money on Christmas decorations and still do a good job, because we have done, I think, an excellent management job between Raylan and Allison and the team on some downtown decorations in the last couple of years. So trimming that just a tad bit is a good thing that won't show. We decided to stick the election services and election supplies under the notion that there won't be a runoff. And so by all means, if there is a runoff in the May 25 election, then we would have to say, hey, letting you know, we'll have to rework the budget at that time. But that's how I think we can proceed safely there. Records management supplies, Dawn's not here to speak for herself on that, but she identified that she can probably save a little bit of money there. The Meet Your City events, we're really folding those into British Bash and Taco Fest and some of the other events. So we're really saving money there, and we've been achieving that during FY '24. So we said, okay, let's save a little money there to buy some supplies as we might need be, but that's a savings area. We double-checked our Star Transit number. We had estimated high at 50,000, and we never brought that number back down to the actual contract for FY '25. And so this number reflects just, hey, we had a plug number in there, and as we were able to refine, we knew that that was a place to save money. We discussed previously with council whittling down the structures demolition and cleanup, so we show that there. We had a consultant number under parks. All the consultant services, or I should say, most of the consultant services that we'll need are things that we're going to be doing that are either grant funded, so we have that available, or they're in the park dedication fund, so we'll be okay there. And then we normally work with the school district highly and with the chamber highly in youth development advertising. That's for like, hey, there's a soccer program. So that's an area where we can save some money as well. So those were the savings, and we hope that that's good with council, and we think that we will be able to move through the budget year with that in place. The next slide, or the next page, I'm sorry, is just the actual ordinance itself, and this has the updated Exhibit A, which goes through all of the specific details. You can just leave it here. And so your new total expenditures for the year in all funds is $118,715,132. And Mayor, with that, I'll just hand it back to you for any questions.
I want to thank Mike's staff for listening to the council. And really, it didn't hit any one department hard, with a sledgehammer. They did a good job on spreading out where those funds were coming. But Mike has made a good point on meet your council or mayor events. I don't know why moving forward at some of these festivals, we just don't have a booth set up for the mayor and the council and just have constituents come by and discuss anything they want.
Right.
That's probably a great idea to do that.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You hit on a good
Yes, sir.
thing there, and we save money because we already got the event going.
What are we going to
Yes.
charge for that, though?
You know what? The mayor was in a Dunkin' booth once. I made a lot of money for somebody. I don't know who, but that sure did. Yeah. But anyway, thank you, staff. Thank you, Mike, for listening to the council and their concerns. Again, y'all stepped up to the plate, and everybody pitched in a little bit to get us where we needed to be. So thank you very much. Does anybody have any comments for Mike?
If we could go back a couple of slides previous to the ones to the cuts. Yeah, right there, that's the one. So a couple of things that I do hear from our citizens is a lot of times they're unhappy with the Christmas decorations as they currently are. They say, we used to decorate more elaborately. We've kind of dialed it back. Looks like we're going to dial it back even more. How is this going to impact our ability to decorate for Christmas this year?
So, great question. This particular year, remember, we would have already had to order out of your FY24 budget, which we have, 90% of the stuff that we would be using for this year. So we have a couple of live trees we're buying for I'll say it better. We have a couple of live trees that we will spend money on in the fall of '24, buying for Christmas of '24. If we move back around to say, okay, what are we going to do? Because this budget primarily will impact what will our Christmas decorations look like for Christmas '25, right? So I think if y'all look at the Christmas decorations this year and you say, hey, you know what? Let's have a longer presentation about how we're going to spend, the bulk of that $25,000. And if you feel like it needed to get changed, or you feel like it was enough, or whatever, I think it would be really wise of us to have a January or February kind of, council chat about how we do. What do we all think of those Christmas decorations? Is that number going to be okay? And we can just receive direction from council at that time about adjusting. Yeah.
I do think, it is something I hear a lot about during the December month, that we're not decorating like we used to decorate, and we do have the lights already on the tops of the buildings. We could kind of take advantage of those and make them more festive, but also just more garland and tinsel, things like that. People they just feel like doesn't feel like the holidays like it used to.
You know what? I think if we were to approach the paddock on, what we have different this year. Oh, okay, all right, so never mind, those are operations. But here's the thing that we do have that we haven't had in the past is we got a lot more trees. If you just put white lights on there, it'll be festive, more festive. And really all you did was wrap the tree with some lights. I don't know, that can't be that expensive. I don't know, yes.
Well, if I can just add something to what Councilman Robinson said, hopefully that amount will allow us to purchase some new garland that could wrap around all the downtown poles. We think
great.
that'll cover that. And then in addition, we have the large tree, the large artificial tree now for the lot at Rockwall and Moore. And it also will allow us to purchase I believe it's a 14-foot tree that we will have at City Hall. And then I think as part of Raylan's budget, she has agreed to do some additional lighting at City Hall as well. Plus, we are going to do like a Dickens Christmas this year. And so even if we don't have a lot of more decorations, we'll have a lot more festivities downtown on that Friday night. We have some high school carolers that are going to dress in period costume and go up and down Moore Avenue. We have choirs that are going to sing at the lot, so it will be festive. If y'all just can get us some snow, it'll all be grand. Oh, and we're also working with the chamber, and we did this years ago, if y'all will remember, we used to have the merchants downtown do storefront decorations, and they're going to bring that contest back. So we're kind of putting it on the merchants to make it look more festive downtown, so that's going to be something we'll add as well.
So there are, just not to drill down into this too much, but are there any ordinance-related concerns that might prevent a downtown business owner from decorating like they'd like to decorate? Or should we encourage them to be as festive as they want to be? And
Well, largely, these are interior decorations that will be able to be seen from Moore Avenue.
through the store windows?
Through the store
Window
windows,
dress-
yeah, it's window dressing, and that way you,
There's very little you can do with Christmas decorations that would generate a violation of a sign ordinance. Because if you put up a banner that says Merry Christmas, we're not judging that as an advertising sign. If you put up a sign that says Business X in 700-point font, and down at the bottom of it in 5-point font, it says, and by the way, Merry Christmas. No, that's not a Christmas decoration, So just with the slightest bit of common sense, it's easy to look at that and say, yeah, someone's put up a Christmas decoration, and as long as it's not some sort of oddball visibility problem, then it shouldn't be a problem at all.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Allison.
Allison, I really appreciate the additional feedback because I think we do a pretty good job of having festivities and celebrations around the holidays. There's funds that come from the hotel taxes that go to the chamber to support the events. The Paddock Board has submitted quite a bit of funds to help improve the downtown area. We have money set aside for decorations, and now sounds like we'll have community members or small businesses that will continue to enhance the liveliness of downtown. So I think hopefully that will alleviate Councilman Robinson's request on those funds, 'cause I think we have quite a bit going on. And I also, I'm a fan of kind of trying to do the most with like the events that we have. So we have a lot of people coming to like the Christmas parade, and it's during the day, kind of leveraging that time period and those individuals and those that will be present. I know we have quite a bit of contractors that sometimes want to, thinking of some of our big contractors that sometimes are willing to also sponsor events and things of that sort. And part of the reason that I'm speaking to this point is because I have a question about downtown landscape grooming and trash pickup.
Wait. So I don't know if we can get off that
Do I have a
far.
question?
In the budget?
Yes.
If it's a
I
budget
mean, it's a
Okay, all right,
It says demolition and cleanup.
okay.
So I was trying to understand the TERS. So in the TERS budget, there's about $550,000 that go to downtown maintenance and operations. So that's another player that helps contribute to the downtown area. And then in the parks general fund, there's about 200,000 for downtown landscaping grooming, and then also 30,000 for downtown trash and pickup. And I'm always a fan of, if there's another fund that we can pull, that can support some of our like downtown initiatives or other initiatives, trying to share the wealth of the resources so our parks fund can focus on, more parks. Because we have 5 parks, right? Am I missing one? We have 5 parks, and they all need the maintenance and have community members that live here that visit the parks. So I'm just wondering if there's an opportunity to have like the landscape grooming for downtown covered by TERS, or does some of the money
So
from TERS
let-
already
just-
cover this?
Yeah, the money you're looking at that's in the general fund is there because of a transfer from TERS number 1 into the general fund to do that work. So that's, why can we afford a line item of 200,000 in the general fund? The TERS makes a transfer to the general fund to accomplish that purpose, yeah.
Okay, and so I did see the $550,000, but then I wasn't able to find in the presented budget where that was specifically that. same amount was transferred.
There's a revenue transfer in from the TERS into the general fund, and then what you're looking at when you're talking about that $200,000 is the expenditure side of it. The revenue is recognized in the revenue section under transfers in.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else?
So, yeah, just kind of continuing what I was on that same slide with the cuts, and kind of piggybacking on what the councilwoman just mentioned. We've got a line item for structure demolition and cleanup parks. I've noticed, on a regular basis, we'll have a project that's taking place downtown or in other parts of the city, and then we'll have, after it's completed, we still have a lot of the cones and barrels and barriers still sitting there for a long time after the project seems to be complete. I noticed we're making a cut there, but I feel like we're kind of already leaving some of the construction debris there often when we need to kind of make sure we're getting those projects cleaned up after they're completed.
So let me just separate 2 things here. One is, if we need to do a better job removing construction staging, construction cones, temporarily placed items, then I can take that as a comment for staff to do a better job on. Don't mind a bit. I don't need additional budget for that. I just need to do a better job at it. This is really only a line item that one uses when the Building Standards Commission has said, hey, we've passed a rule. It says that building is gonna get demoed if it doesn't get repaired by a certain time. That's the only use of this fund. And because we generally hope for voluntary compliance by a private landowner there, we've been, we set this number a little bit higher originally, and we've just whittled it down under the assumption that, hopefully voluntary compliance will do us well as we move forward in that process this year.
And maybe that particular line item isn't the specific place to address this, but maybe it's more in line with the budget area that Councilman Velasquez was just mentioning. I know that in previous months, when I've had some kind of a cleanup issue or a something of that nature related to downtown, often I'll alert staff, and if it's a downtown issue, then it goes, basically everyone says that's Raylan. That's that one area that takes care of it. And then if it's anywhere else, then public service takes care of it, right? But then I've noticed let's say that I had one issue recently where after a project was done, there were some electrical boxes that were still open with wires hanging out. I alerted staff, and the person who had to address it was Raylan herself. She went down and fixed it. Or when there was some debris, she went down and grabbed it and put it in the trash. So my thinking is, we're already just having one person handle all of that, so I'd like to see either Raylan have some help with that debris pickup, and if we're cutting that budget further, I think that's probably.
Too many disconnected issues. One is, this item is never used for what you just said. So the
Okay.
structures demolition cleanup is simply never
Not
used
that one,
for
but
that
the one-
purpose.
the other
The
TERS,
money
money
that Councilwoman Velasquez mentioned, yes, it is definitely used for that. And I would just say that I feel like we do very much try to be a good steward of that and do a good job with that. And I would just say that money is there because we do have contractors who do regular work and help, and then we also have in-house staff that can provide elsewhere in the budget other additional help on that. I do have an overachiever who you mentioned, and sometimes she is determined to get it done right now. And I appreciate that about her, I would say I don't want to discourage her from being such a go-getter, but it's,
we
it's
do have
definitely
staff
not,
to-
it absolutely.
We do have staff to help with
Right.
downtown
Exactly.
cleanup issues.
Right.
Are people,
Yes.
is that our, so I understand who that is that our public services team, or is that?
Right,
someone
so
different?
that's going to be, you know, the combination of public services teams. So sometimes it might be a park member, sometimes it might be a building maintenance person, just depending on what it is.
Okay.
And who's got the right expertise for it. But no, it's not her job. But she is an overachiever, and she just can go out and she can do it every now and then, just like I might stop and pick up trash somewhere because, you know, it's just not acceptable. So if we see it, we've been alerted to it, and
Yeah, which I have no
somebody-
issue with her doing it at
Right,
all,
yeah,
just,
somebody who
you
might
know,
be more appropriate.
there should be a team,
says,
you know,
oh,
managing
yeah,
that.
it's, you're telling me at 9 a.m. and I
Yeah.
can't get over there until 5 p.m. Well, you know, I think it's good that we have staff who will say, well, that's fine. It takes 5 minutes. I'll go over there right now and do it. That's credit to her. And, but no, that's not her standard job at all.
Okay, as long as we have people who are, you know.
Absolutely.
Helping out with those types of issues.
Anyone else?
Well, you know, we may have deviated from the item here, but it sounds like, one, we can hold contractors accountable. Two, make sure it gets over to the correct staff member, and three, I think we all, in our roles, have duties that, you know, we that are in our job duties, and if there's a need for assistance, then that can be communicated with a leader.
Cool. Anyone else?
And if, you know, they don't do it, number 4, just call me and I'll be glad to run by with my trailer and work truck and
She
pick it
will.
up and take care of it, okay?
She certainly
For a small fee.
She certainly will. All right, council, this is ordinance number 3067. Again, I'll need a motion and a second.
Mayor,
And then we'll, yes,
are we voting on
we will.
after you make the motion, then we're going to vote?
We'll
And it's going to
poll.
be polling.
Yes,
So if I have a comment, do I make it now or during the
during the discussion,
discussion?
yes. Is it meant for discussion, or is it
Yeah.
meant just a comment to
It's
staff?
just a comment.
You can address staff now.
Okay. I want to thank the staff for putting the budget together. I want to thank Mark and Tracy for walking me through all 2 inches of the budget. So when I vote tonight, I want to say in general that I have concerns that I have raised with them, questions that I have had, that they have answered. And I am confident that through fiscal year 24-25, that those questions will be answered, those issues will be resolved to the benefit of the city of Terrell. But the work that went into this document, I really appreciate the work. I look forward to seeing what we do with our money for this year. And I also, so thank you very much, very much. And they're not here, but I want to thank Chris's staff and DJ's staff for doing the work that nobody sees. There are no words of appreciation I can say for those men and women. And to Mike's staff at the city office, thank you for making binders. that I can mark up. So thank you. But my questions were answered and those concerns addressed and documented, and that's what I wanted to say.
Well said. All right. Ordinance number 3067, is there a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, District 3, a second from Phil Robinson, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, District 5, to approve resolution number 306. Ordinance number 3067 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Omira, would you please poll the council?
Donna Renee Anderson,
And that's this page, right?
Budget, period.
Oh. Aye.
Mayor Ronnie Velazquez,
Aye.
Stephanie Holmes Thomas,
Aye.
Phil Robinson,
Aye.
Mayor Rick Carmona.
Aye. Motion passes with unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 6.5.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight Resolution Number 2187, adopting the annual update to the City of Terrell Financial Policy Manual for fiscal year 2025.
That was huge.
This is, again, Assistant City Manager Mark Mills.
The item before you this evening provides an update and approval for fiscal year 2025 financial policy manual. The manual is brought to council each year to give you an opportunity to review and view the recommended changes that staff is proposing. At this time, there are only 3 minor changes for which red line copies of the changes have been included in your packet. These include the update of the policy date on the cover, a minor change in approvals allowing the city manager to delegate approval authority to specified individuals, primarily through the workflow of the new financial system, and then an update to the information required to be obtained from vendors in order to set them up and maintain their vendor files. A more comprehensive review and update of the policy encompassing changes to the proposed policy and practices of the city as a result of the implementation of the new financial system will be brought before you during the first quarter of calendar year 2025. So minor changes this evening with a more comprehensive review and change during first quarter of calendar 25.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Mark? Again, this would be a discuss and consider
This was-
resolution number 2187.
So it was
Any
just
questions?
for those items in red,
Just the items in red are the proposed changes in this policy at this time. Yes, ma'am.
and then you included the policy for my benefit,
The policy that is included is the one that incorporates those changes.
those red changes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Again, this is discuss and consider, so I need this one's not poll. No. All right, this one is just a regular vote, so a motion on resolution number 2187.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 2187.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Donna Renee Anderson, District 2, a second from Phil Robinson, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, District 5, to approve resolution number 2187 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is our consent agenda. Council, we may consider all of these at one. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, District 3, a second from Donna Renee Anderson, District 2, to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is to information reports. We have police monthly reports, and we have our housing department monthly reports. Council, I would ask that you reach out to the police chief if you have any questions there, and Denise, if you have any questions with our housing department monthly reports. Thank you very much. At this time, we're going to adjourn into executive session in accordance with Section 551 of the Texas Government Code to discuss the following: Section 551.072, deliberations regarding real property. Section 551.074, personnel matters. Section 551.087, deliberations regarding economic development, negotiations. We are now All right. At this time, we're going to reconvene into regular session, consider action, if any, on items discussed in executive session. Are there any motions? Hearing none, we are adjourned.